Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk. I'm Heidi Smith. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the United Kingdom. And today I'm working with some of the fabulous celebration items that you can get for free at the moment. So these are items that if you spend £45, you can choose one of a range of items. If you spend slightly more, if you spend £90, you can either have two of the lower level items or one of the bigger items, which is a Stampin' DSP set. So I'm going for the £45 to spend, so you can choose this fabulous driving by stamp set. If you've got car lovers, VW lovers, this is absolutely perfect for them. Driving by to say hi, thanks, you've got style, great fun for all sorts of occasions. I'm also using some of the DSP that you can get. So the one is the Simply Marvellous 6x6, and as you can see here, lovely marbled items, so literally like marble on the one side, and on the other like the marble effect you get from marbling with inks. And you can see here lovely colours, so you've got sort of beautiful blues, you've got Blushing Bride and Flirty Flamingo in there, we've got So Saffron in there, Bumblebee, Coastal Cabana and Pool Party, going through almost to the deeper Bermuda Bay, Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather in there, Smoky Slate, lovely colour ranges, really useful, great for all sorts of occasions. And then the other one is one that I kind of resisted for a while, which is called Sunshine and Rainbows. And these are beautifully cheerful patterns. And on the one side we've got rainbow sort of themed ones, and then the more generic images on the back. So as you can see, fabulous rainbow colours, lovely little hearts, little kind of ice cream cones almost. Could use that one as stars. Great stripes we've got here, which is one of the ones I'll be using. Dots and thicker stripes, and these ones just kind of reminded me of a road. I don't know, well, just because. Great rainbows, you can see, big rainbows, and again these coordinate with the papers in the and with the rainbow bundle in the catalogue. So this is the January to June catalogue that is out at the moment, and so just really useful kind of ones. So I'm going to use this striped paper, and I'll show you what we're making. So I'm just doing a fun easel card. So I thought, what better way, driving by just to say hi, a little easel card. I made a little bit of a road down the middle there. I used some of the stripes on the background with a little layer, and I say just a little bit of fun really. So it was as much as anything to use up some scraps that I had as well. So I kind of got offcut from doing a card front, and obviously they don't go to waste, but sometimes you're looking for ways to use a slightly smaller piece of card that you've got. So I thought we'd make one of these. Okay, you're going to start off with a card base. So this is a standard half A4 card base, and you're going to score in half. So I'm going to, this is 14.5 by 21. So I'm going to score it at 10.5. Now obviously it's more difficult to get a score here because it doesn't divide equally, so you could fold it, or what I'm going to do is just make one side slightly bigger than the other. So all I'm going to do now is score that one at, again, at 15.5. So it's just over 6 inches, so just there, and score. Okay, so this means that this section is just slightly bigger, so it'll stand slightly prouder. So that's our card base. We're then going to want lots of bits of DSP. So I have got 2 pieces of Night and of Navy. One is 5 centimetres, the other is 4.5 by 14.5. I want a piece of DSP that is 4.5 by 14.5. So really nice, easy measurements. And this one is 4 centimetres by 14.5. I will put the inches on my blog as usual. I'll pop them in the description bar below here as well. Okay, so those are our bases. We're then going to want, I've got some smoky slate here, and this is 2.5 centimetres again by 14.5, and I'm going to cut a little piece of my Simply Marvellous DSP at just over 2 centimetres. Because it kind of reminded me of tarmac. And obviously you could use either side of that for your road. And then my front piece, this is 5 centimetres. And then you want a piece of card to go outside. And I thought actually I might brighten it up with a little bit of Pacific Point. So I'm just going to cut this at actually about sort of 5.3 centimetres. Again by 14.5. So lots of cutting done. I was going to say I didn't think so. I hadn't trimmed that one to 14.5. There we go. So that just gives it a nice little edge. Okay. So now we've done all our kind of cutting and scoring, we're going to do the fun bit, which is creating our cards. Now this one I thought it was great. I used the Free as a Bird because it reminded me of kind of like hibiscus blossoms and fun things, and so I'll show you how I've created those. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to stamp those twice. We're going to stamp them once on some basic white, and then we're going to stamp them again on our DSP. So again, great scrap buster. I'm going to be using some bits and pieces I've got here. And what we want to do is use our Memento ink. So just ink a stamp, and there's my camper van. And I'm now going to stamp that on again, a couple of scraps. So with these, this one's a slightly bigger pattern, so I'm actually going to sort of make this one my camper van, like so. And now we're going to do my beetle. Now I'm actually not going to worry about inking up those parcels because I'm not going to be using those, and I'm just going to stamp again once on some basic white, and then once on my rainbows. I might actually, I'm going to do that again because I'm going to try and get the rainbow kind of, there we go, that's better. I've got more of the rainbow on there. Okay. So now we've stamped those up, now we're into the fussy cutting. So what we're going to do is where we've got our camper van, we're just cutting out that main body, and I'm sort of cutting on the line there. And when you come down here, I'm kind of doing the bumper and then cutting inside that kind of wheel arch. Like so. And you'll see it's starting to sort of take shape as our camper. And that was the one I thought was better. We've got more rainbow on this. So again, cut this out. Now the next bit that we're going to do, we're actually going to cut the windows out of these. Now if you have a scalpel, a craft knife, then that's perfect for this, but you can do it with scissors. And so just again, cutting those wheel arches, like so. And just round there. cut away the bulk if you're starting to, sometimes it can just get a little bit tricky, so just come with, say, cut away some of that bulk, just make it a little bit easier for you. So there we've got our two little vans. So as I say, if you've got a craft knife, great, that can be used for this, and you're just going to cut out these windows. If you haven't, then what I usually do is I kind of just use the point of my scissors to kind of cut across in these. And what that does is it gives me a little bit of space to get my scissors in. So what I'm going to do is literally, you can see that's just open that up, and with the Stampin' Up snips you can just come in, and those are so precise, you can get right, you can cut right to the tip with them. Like so, look, there's that little window. Again, and again, just so as you can see, that's starting all of a sudden taking the windows out, and it really opens it up, makes it look. Now on the camper van on the front, I just come in slightly from the line, just because it's a very fine line. Okay. You can see I've just left it a little bit wider there, but on the middle I can just come in. And I did see someone, I can't remember the name, the demonstrator, did a fabulous Scooby-Doo mystery machine. So that's one I might have a go at recreating, because my youngest son loved Scooby-Doo. We were talking about it the other day actually, and he was saying how he used to watch Scooby-Doo. He had a video player, so yeah, he's obviously nearly 20 now, and there were two things that he used to love watching. One was Scooby-Doo, the other one was the Isle of Man TT. So once you've cut out those, you're then going to cut out these ones as well. So again, you're just cutting around the outside of those, and there just happens to be a nice little gap on those. I haven't done stamp surgery on these to cut away those parcels. I think in at Christmas that's going to be great fun to have. Kind of reminded me of Christmas more, perhaps because we've had some stamps with trees on the top in the past. But yeah, so in effect we're cutting out the base here. So we're just cutting around the solid outside of these. Again, just get rid of some of that excess. Just coming close in to that line, and then our camper van. So my camper van is a more modern one of these. I love these, but they're not as comfortable. I like my Mod Cons, and with that exhaust pipe, I'm not going to come in on the inside of that. I'm just going to trim down the outer edge. And then what you're going to want after you've cut these out is some blends. So, or some of our markers would work just as well with this, because we're not actually doing any blending. I've got blends out just because they happen to be handy, but if you haven't got blends or you prefer our markers, then those would work perfectly for this. Okay, so there we go, there's our little base of our camper van. So now what we want to do is just add some adhesive to the back of these. I'm going to use a little bit of, she says, of Tombow, because obviously I want to get in there. You might want to use the sponge method to apply this, so you get a finer layer. Certainly with that big splodge there, I'm going to use that to really go around all areas of my VW bug. and then you're just going to line it up over the top there. So as you can see, they're starting to come together, but when I got this far, and I went, yeah, they're not quite right yet though. So what I felt was needed was, as I say, a bit of blends. So what I did was I've got a smoky slate, which I'm just going to use on the inside of my wheel. And having the Tombow does allow it just you can squeeze it into place. Haven't done as good a job on that one, but there we go. And I also used, I think I used the lighter one for these, but you can just pop to kind of give the effect of glass. Mine has tinted windows. I probably should have coloured those in before I put my DSP over the top, but if you're careful on the inside, there we go. Okay. And what I then wanted to do was just come and add a little bit of detail to those. So I've got a couple of other blends here. So I've got some Night of Navy, and I did have a different colour as well. Let's have a go. So the Night of Navy, just this one. So Night of Navy obviously is one of our neutrals, great for all sorts of projects you can add in. It just gives it a little bit of an extra effect there. And then I coloured in the top section of that, so to kind of make it look a little bit more like a fancy paint job. And hence we could use our memento for that. There's my basic black. So I've got my basic black here for the actual tyres. I'm just going to come in like so. And again. This one I think looks like it's been lowered. Slightly different. And if I can find, so here's my this one. This time I've got my Bermuda Bay. So I just thought that with the rainbow just fitted a little bit more. There we go. So here we've got our funky images. Now we're going to do our bit of our sentiment. So I've just got some scraps of basic white and some scraps of Night of Navy. So all I'm going to do is take our driving by to say hi stamp. So it's this little sentiment here. Pop that on a small block, and I'm just going to use some basic grey. So I'm going to stamp that twice, like so. And on the first one I'm going to be doing my just to say hi. So I'm cutting up close to my driving by to get my straight line. And then on the other one I'm going to cut closer to the bottom bit and a bit further away from my driving by at the top. Just allows me to space a little bit more, and hopefully is that straight. It's as straight as a dog's hind leg, so this gives me a bit of, there we go. So there's my driving by and just to say hi. And then to layer those, I'm not even going to try and measure them because they're teeny tiny. So I just add a little adhesive to the back. And I add that to the corner of a piece that I know is nice and straight. so. Same at the end here. So you can see there we've got 2 of our corners done already, so I can then just trim on the outside. So that just gives us a little narrow border without having to do any measuring. Like so. So we're almost ready to pop our card together. So we can get our card base, and if you remember, we've got 2 panels to go onto here. So now we can add everything together. So this is a new Tombow, so it's really full of lots of nice runny glue. Just get that stuff near the edge. And because obviously we've cut it so we're just lining up each side, and I've done a rubbish job on that one. I'm going to need to do a new panel on that, I think, because that looks nothing like the size that it should be. Okay, that's because I've cut it to 4 centimetres, not 4.5. I've just cut a fresh piece of my Night of Navy. Let's try again. So this is our 4.5 centimetre wide piece by 14.5. So these 2 are going to fit onto our layers. So the smaller one goes towards the centre fold. That's going to pop in there. Our wider one goes on that front section. Like so. Now we can add our inner panels. So there's our road, or it's not quite a road yet. So what I thought I'd do now is just come in with a ruler and our bullet tip. Now obviously roads have white. I'm not quite sure if the white's going to show up on that. No, it isn't. Didn't think it would. So all I'm going to do is just pop my ruler down the middle there and just put some like markings to kind of indicate a little bit of a road. Add that to our basic grey. So it's a really nice deep grey that we're using there. And this is going to be the stopper for our card. So once that's adhered, we're going to add dimensionals to the back there. So while that's drying, we can add our layer here to our Pacific point. There we go, like so. So this one's going to go flat on the inside of our card. Like so. We're going to add our dimensionals onto the back of our stopper. So you kind of want to kind of keep it well supported, so it's probably 4 of those on the back there. And you want to leave space for our just to say hi on the front. So again, just a dimensional or 2 on the back there. And because it's smaller, I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. So a couple of those on the back. our driving by, again we're going to use a couple of mini dimensionals on that, and while we've got them out we're going to add them onto the back of our other items as well. So the back of our cars. There we go. So our driving by is going to go in the top corner here. And here's my camper. On the road there. And then my bug is going to go on the other side. Like so. So there we have our two fun little easel cards using some DSP scraps to make a couple of little cards. Thanks for watching. Come back and see me again soon, and if you'd like to purchase any of the products from Stampin' Up and choose these for free, just pop along to my shop at heidismith.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. Bye now.